This certainly won't be my best video, and most of you know how I feel about quick record, but I just had to chime in on something. The police are officially a gang. So there was a cop outside my window, and I just moved into a new place, and it was a little awkward making a first impression with the new landlord, and I already don't feel that she likes me. Of course, I overanalyze everything, but anyway, so he was sitting there with his lights flashing like crazy, and he was observing a tow truck lift a car. So I figured, you know what? It's not a serious situation. It's not a violent situation. I'm just going to go out there and politely say, "Excuse me, sir, if this isn't an emergency, could you please turn your lights off?" And then give him X reason why, but not waste his time or ramble. So I walked out, and I leaned down, and I put my head in front of his window, and I said, "Hi, excuse me, sir. I was thinking, unless this is an emergency, I was wondering if you could." And I didn't get very far because he jammed his hand like that into my face. He jammed it into my face so quickly, I thought he was going to break my nose. I thought he was attacking me. I thought he was honestly nervous and like he was going to hit me in the face. Then I realized, oh, you're just a rude skunt. So then he rolls up his window immediately, without any words. Now keep in mind, not only is he a pig, he's a bald fucking pig. Like he looks the part of a guy that was just born to dominate and control others. He looks like a guy that was just born for this role. He's dreamt about it since he's been a kid, since he was a little piggy in the womb. He's been focused on just being that kind of guy. Very no nonsense. I've got a bald fucking head. Don't fuck around with me. I'm a RCMP soldier. Anyway, so he doesn't listen to me. I go back inside, and I just, I'm the kind of person I can't help but push things sometimes. I couldn't help but think, what the fuck? That wasn't right. That was so rude. So in retrospect, at this point, I should have left it alone. But I went back outside, and I tapped on the window, and waited, and nothing happened. And I should mention, when I went out the first time, I did tap on the window a few times, but he didn't say anything, and I just went inside. So back to the second time I was outside, I tapped on the window. He didn't say anything. I tapped again, and then I sort of bent down a bit, so we're more on eye level, face to face. Then I said through the window, "Seriously, what the fuck is wrong with you?" And that got his response. He opened the door super quickly. He started going off about how he's on the phone with his supervisor and blah, blah, blah. But that would have been fine. But he was screaming at me. And he was obviously so angry. He was having trouble pacing his words. And it was coming out a little jumbled. But he's flipping out and saying, "I'm on the phone with I'm on the phone with a superior officer. When an officer is blah 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 blah, you don't go up to the window and blah blah blah. You don't interfere with police business. Blah 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 blah." So I finally get out. Look. I just wanted to be polite. I'm just trying to say one thing. So he lets me say my one thing finally. So this is my time. And I say, "I was just thinking, if this isn't an emergency, maybe because I've already made a bit of an awkward impression with my new landlord, you could, turn your lights off." "Please, can't turn the lights off, please, please." And he just screams and screams and screams. So I decided to go back inside. By the way, the first time I went inside, I'm pretty sure that someone spit on his car. But anyway, so I go back inside the second time, and I phone his supervisor, or I phone the non-emergency line of the police detachment out here and ask to be patched through to a supervisor. And I explained it to the supervisor, explaining, "Look, I don't needlessly cause problems with the police, although then again, considering the nature of the police, I should have just stayed the fuck away because God knows they're a gang." And while the supervisor was fairly nice overall, he did point out, he said, "Well, if I was on police business, and I'm not trying to take sides, sir, and I don't know both sides." Well, that's great. And someone approached me in a dark area. Yeah, it's real freaky. You know, little townhouse. Seniors trailer park behind. Yeah, it's like fucking downtown East Side. Watch yourself. Anyway, and someone approached my window, I would be nervous. I would be scared, and he explained how they're always thinking of officer safety first, because even though many people are decent, we're always operating with the mentality that everybody wants to hurt us. Literally his words. So, I already knew they operated like a gang to a large degree. The only difference being they're funded by the state and controlled by the state, an arm of the state. Um, but yeah, I mean, I already know they really stick together, which is understandable to a degree. Men that get together and share something are bound to be a band of brothers. But I find it a little weird that immediately he jumps to this explanation. Oh, but if I was there, and I would basically do the same thing he did. Although he didn't say that. Anyway, I tried to point out, look, it wasn't that, and by the way, the reason they couldn't turn the lights off, that's provincial law. And I said, oh, okay, cool, no problem. Really, at that point, it was just the fact he was a completely rude dick. But the supervisor did say, oh, it's very uncommon for people to come up to a police car window. Yeah, well, I'm fucking uncommon, I guess. And, late at night, with our lights flashing, and saw a tow truck being loaded, or saw a tow truck loading a car. I didn't really think it was a major situation I had to worry about. Anyway, I would just like to say this. If the police want more respect, maybe they should fucking act like they deserve it. As often as the police are doing a good job and helping someone out that needs it, more often than not, I see them doing the opposite. Just really quickly, the local coffee shop owner uptown told me about two small businesses that were robbed repeatedly and then had to close down. My friend my friend who lived close to here, he was robbed, and basically they didn't really investigate. I was robbed a couple of years ago, and they wouldn't even dust for prints at the entry and exit point. Basically, if you're a regular person or a small business and you lose something of monetary value, go fuck yourself, is the attitude the police seem to have. If you're a business in the industrial park down here and someone throws a paint can against the wall, an empty paint can against a brick wall, and makes a clang sound, they're there in 5 minutes, and you can fucking trust me on that because I've been a kid once. I was a kid once myself. So yeah, as if many of you already didn't know it, the police are a gang, and I guess don't depend on them for anything, because if you want to politely say something, you're probably going to get chewed out and then basically threatened. I only say threatened because he was so aggressive with his hand, and then when he came out, it was like he was waiting for me to fucking hit him. I swear to God he wanted me to hit him, because he rushed towards me so quickly. Not only did he lean over me, he's about 65 pounds heavier than me and about 5 inches taller. Not only did he lean over me and point down, and point like right in my face, like right here, you don't do this, but he was puffed out. He was in a very aggressive stance, I think, personally. And I could be wrong, maybe I just overthink things, which I said, but I really do think he was waiting for me to either do a sudden move or get scared and react or push him backwards or something, so that he could unload on me with a little bit of that good old fashioned legal police beating. So yeah, cops are a fucking gang. Watch yourself. Keep your herbs hidden and keep your friends safe. And yeah, it's probably best not to talk to the police at all unless you have to. But you know what? Fuck him. I had to talk to him, and I'll admit, going out the second time, I was just angry. But I kept my cool. And anyway, long story short, if the police want respect, they should act like they deserve it. Any cop that acts like that just reinforces the feeling I've already had over the years, which is they don't really care. They're there to enforce drug laws. They're there to worry about property crime if it's major enough. And they're fucking pigs. So prove me wrong. Any cops? Any takers? Any cops want to prove me wrong?